The Quest Pro is here, and it is readily available for you to go and pick up off a shelf right now. And in comparison to what we can already buy for virtual reality, this is pretty expensive. Or is it? The Quest Pro is the first hybrid headset I've ever used. It's a VR headset, it's a mixed reality headset, and it's designed to be used in the workplace as well. And it's also designed to make things more immersive inside those spaces, with features like eye tracking, face tracking, dynamic foveated rendering, but all that stuff can also be used in games. Hence, I feel this is such a hybrid product, and I actually feel that those features do bring you an extra sense of immersion while using apps that use all these technologies. This headset has 10 cameras for tracking. You've got 3 on each controller and 4 on the headset, and it is the best inside-out tracking experience I've had. The bigger FOV is welcome. The clarity is pretty incredible, especially on PC VR. And also it can be really good when you're using something like Red Matter 2, which uses eye tracking and dynamic foveated rendering. It looks astonishing for a standalone headset. But before we go deep diving into the specs, as I said earlier, it is £1,500, $500. And for that price tag, you are getting one of the best VR devices I've used. Now, it's not best across the board, and I will get into that. And if you're simply here to find out if this is better than a Quest 2, it is better than a Quest 2, but it's also 3 times more expensive, so it kind of should be. To be clear with you, I didn't buy this headset. Meta sent me this headset along with some accessories because I wouldn't have bought it. There is no way I would have featured this headset on the channel, currently this close to Christmas as well, purely for money. It is a very expensive headset, but what it's done, now I feel like I've had a glimpse of the future. I've now seen what PSVR 2 and Quest 3 could be, and thanks to this headset, I'm now more excited than ever for the features I've spoken about. I have experienced eye tracking before on the Vario, but the Vario felt out of reach, completely out of reach. $12,000. This is $1,500. And the thing that wowed me on the Vario is almost as close to that as this is in the wow factor. And when you do that price comparison, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know how much the components are inside this headset. I don't know how much it costs to make, how much time goes into R&D to produce this, but what I do know is that this is an excellent virtual reality headset that is designed, I think, actually for gaming, and it can be used for gaming, especially if you get the light blocker, but it is definitely for working, and as a content creator, I think it's absolutely excellent. So with all that being said, please take a moment to leave a like on the video, subscribe for more virtual reality content, as I am about to try and tell you everything you need to know about this headset, whether it replaces your Quest 2 or simply wait for the Quest 3. Firstly, I want to talk about form factor of the Quest Pro itself. It's extremely comfortable. These are like a pleather feel, so they won't get ruined by sweat. It's even got a little bit of an elastic feel going on, which is nice, but that still doesn't make it really any easier to get on and off. You still need to like fully unwind this thing and wind it back on each and every time. It is a heavy headset. It comes in at 755 grams, but it is very, very balanced. So when you like pick it up out of the box, you're going to think, damn dude, this is quite heavy. But actually when you use it, I don't think it feels that heavy personally. When you start certain apps like Workrooms, it basically goes through a setup procedure that you can skip. But what it did, it made me realize that my IPD, or what I thought was my IPD of 63, is incorrect. My IPD is 64, and this headset has told me that. It's also told me that how I had this headset on wasn't in the best position to give me the best clarity of the headset. I think that's a fantastic feature. I do miss the ability to flip the headset off, you know, like there's been headsets where you can flip the front, or you can sort of angle the headset. You can't do that with this. This is a solid strap. It's got 2 auxiliary ports, which is quite nice. Below there is the volume. There's the volume, there's the power button, and these are the elastic straps that I was talking about when it gives you a flex. The lenses are pretty hard to show you in any great detail because of where they sit and the way the back strap is. On the top of you've got a slider, and what that does is it moves the top face pad. It moves this in and out. So what you can do is get it really wound down so you can get as close to these lenses as possible. The IPD range is 55 to 75, but they are very easily movable. So what happen is when you're taking it on and off, it might move only by 1 or 2 millimeters, but as I said, depending on the app, it will end up constantly reminding you that you've knocked them out of place. So I would have liked these to be a little bit stiffer or hard to move, or even like the Pico 4's design where it was a mechanism that did it itself inside the headset. So as I said, it hasn't got everything that I've experienced, but I imagine one day all that stuff will be in one headset. So also you may have noticed, especially from the pictures, because I remember when I first saw this headset I was like, how the hell are we going to enjoy video games in this? But you get these to attach. They're magnetic, very easy to slip on. That, I would say, is the working form factor of the headset, because you can still see at least maybe 30-35% of your real world while wearing it, and I actually like that. Personally, as a content creator, I really enjoy not always having to take the headset off to see my world around me. Now obviously we have pass-through. Pico had color pass-through, which is absolutely fantastic. I am enjoying the pass-through on this just as much, but it's grainy and the colors don't quite look as correct, but you have depth. So when you use something like mixed reality with this, it's far better than it is on Quest 2 and Pico 4. So what you're definitely going to need if you're purely gaming in this thing is a full light blocker. It goes on very simply, it's magnetic. This should have come with it because it is a gaming headset as well. I can do everything on this that I can on my Quest 2 because I just don't feel it's right that all you've got is the side blockers. But the more I use it, the more I don't mind it and I enjoy it. And as I said, I think it looks like if Batman had a headset, I think it would look like this. Hardware wise, it features 256 gigs of storage, 12 gig of RAM, and a Snapdragon XR2 Plus processor that delivers 50% more power for better performance. And I do feel this is noticeable when you're using the headset. It has had a couple of hiccups, and I do feel that's because maybe the software is not fully finalized. And to say that is crazy, because if you think about all the software updates that Quest 2 has had, what we've got now isn't going to be what it is in maybe a year's time. For example, just using menus, going from a game to your files, back to the settings. When it's all working really nice, it's a really pleasant experience. Eye tracking in this headset is fantastic, and when you use it in combination with face tracking, it can be such an immersive experience. Even though the avatars in Horizon don't necessarily look the most realistic, I personally could speak to myself for ages in there in a mirror and my friends. Even though Workrooms is already a really nice place to talk to each other, it made it even better. Now, I've yet to play a game that makes use of face tracking, for example, like a multiplayer game. I haven't done that yet, but I have played a game that made use of the eye tracking and the dynamic foveated rendering, and that is Red Matter 2. They basically pushed an update for the Quest Pro headset exclusively, which added local dimming, eye-tracked foveated rendering, and even increased pixel resolution by over 30%. Red Matter 2 already looked incredible on the Quest 2, but on the Pro, it looks amazing. It really does. I want to see more games making use of this stuff, but I honestly don't see many developers doing that until Quest 3 appears, and we don't even know if Quest 3 will have these features, but I really hope it does. Now, when it comes to the clarity you see in the headset, it isn't just about resolution. The resolution per eye is 1920 by 1800, which is basically the same as the Quest 2, but instead of one panel, it's got two LCD panels per eye. And even though it is obviously a lower resolution than the Pico 4, the images seen in the headset I think are superior. Another thing to mention is the brightness of the headset. You don't really lose any contrast or the blacks by having it all the way up, but it looks fantastic. Now, this is the part where I've got quite a bit to say about the experience of the Quest Pro versus Quest 2. When you use this headset as a standalone headset for gaming with Quest 2 games, you won't feel, I don't think, any different. I think there is a slight increase in clarity, slight increase, and also an increase in FOV. But overall, and a bit like the Pico 4, I don't think that's enough to justify the upgrade from a Quest 2 to a Pro. However, if for some crazy reason developers started adding the features like eye tracking, dynamic foveated rendering, face tracking to games, it wouldn't be such an easy conversation. But again, I just can't see it happening until Quest 3. Basically, if you want to know what it's like to play a Quest 2 game on Quest Pro, there is no real difference unless the developers make it different. Now, when you've got the power of PC VR behind this headset, it's absolutely brilliant. I think this is a fantastic PC VR headset. Now, when it comes to the controllers of the Pro, I actually think these are the best controllers I've used in VR. Even this little slope bit here just feels right for where your thumbs rest. Everything feels nice. Everything feels premium. The joysticks feel great. Like if you ever bought a Xbox Elite controller, they just feel like that. These feel like a real premium product. The weight is nice, but it's the haptics. I think the haptics in these are so close to what we get with the PS5 with the DualSense controllers. I absolutely love these. They've even got their own mobile processors in them, and I believe these are £300. Apparently they are going to be usable with the Quest 2, but I think that we've got to wait for an update coming at some point in the future. But as soon as that happens, I will try it and I will let you know if these are worth picking up for the Quest 2. These apparently have 8 hours of battery life, but I'm honestly in love with this charge plate. It's almost like they've designed it to be used in like 2-3 hour bursts, and all you do whenever you've put it down, you put it straight back on this plate with the controllers and it's just charged. It's just ready to go all the time. So if you ask me for the life battery of this, I couldn't tell you, because every time I use it, it's back to 100%. I will try and update that as soon as I can, but I feel like I've constantly used the bloody thing. That's what I don't understand. And I've heard it's even higher if you turn off the eye tracking and foveated rendering, but I can't confirm that, because literally thanks to this plate, whenever I put it down, it's just charged again. So maybe it does run out pretty quick, but this thing charges it bloody fast. So after all that being said, my overall view of this headset is overly positive, but that still doesn't mean I'd buy one. As much as I'm glad that I've experienced it, there's definitely a honeymoon phase to the technologies in this headset, and you also realise there isn't enough apps using these particular features. But what this headset has done, as I said before, has given me a chance to use them and look forward to them coming in the next consumer-based products like Quest 3 and like PSVR 2. If at any time you get a chance to try one of these, do it. And don't rush it. Don't spend half hour. Try and spend a few hours getting it in that sweet spot, getting the lenses right, and just trying different apps. And I promise you, you'll be impressed. But as I said, I cannot justify buying this myself, and I don't expect you to if you're just here for playing games. If you are a business and looking into the potential of mixed reality and virtual reality, I don't think there's a better product for a business to get, because it's got all those really fantastic technologies that will wow people and potential investors into getting involved. So yeah, the Quest Pro, Quest 2.5, Quest Business, whatever it is, definitely has a place in virtual reality, but it's not for me as a gamer. So be sure to check out more of my content via the cards here. Let me know your comments down below. Subscribe for more virtual reality content, and I'll see you on the next video.